What happens when one of the world's most private royals suddenly decides to tear down the carefully constructed walls between her public persona and her real self? Queen Mary of Denmark has just done exactly that, and the entire nation is still reeling from her unprecedented display of vulnerability. This isn't just another royal update, this is a complete transformation of how we understand modern monarchy, and what you're about to discover will forever change how you see the Danish royal family. The summer of 2024 marked a turning point not just for Denmark, but for royal watchers worldwide. As Queen Mary returned from what many assumed was just another typical royal vacation, nobody could have predicted the bombshell she was about to drop. The woman who has spent decades perfecting the art of diplomatic distance suddenly threw caution to the wind, revealing intimate details about her personal life that left seasoned royal correspondents scrambling to make sense of this dramatic shift. For those who have followed Queen Mary's journey from Australian commoner to Danish royalty, this moment represents something far more significant than a simple public relations move. This is a queen who has always walked the tightrope between accessibility and mystery, between being relatable and maintaining the mystique that monarchy demands. But something changed during those summer months, something so profound that it compelled her to abandon decades of royal protocol and speak from the heart in ways that have never been seen before from the Danish throne. The royal house's announcement came like thunder on a clear day. After years of carefully curated public appearances and measured statements, Queen Mary chose to lift the veil on aspects of her life that had remained strictly private. The Danish media, typically respectful of royal boundaries, found themselves in uncharted territory as they tried to process this unprecedented level of personal disclosure from their sovereign. What makes this revelation even more extraordinary is the timing. Denmark, like many European nations, has been grappling with questions about the relevance of monarchy in the modern world. Young people especially have been questioning whether ancient institutions can truly represent contemporary values. Into this environment of uncertainty and debate, Queen Mary stepped forward with a message that was both deeply personal and strategically brilliant. The Queen's decision to open this window into her everyday life wasn't made lightly. Sources close to the palace suggest that this move represents months, perhaps years, of careful consideration about how the monarchy can remain relevant and connected to the Danish people. The traditional model of royal communication, with its formal statements and ceremonial appearances, was beginning to feel increasingly disconnected from the realities of modern Danish life. What Queen Mary revealed during this extraordinary moment of transparency touches on themes that resonate far beyond the borders of Denmark. Her words spoke to the universal challenges of balancing public duty with private desires, of maintaining authenticity while fulfilling institutional obligations, and of finding personal meaning within the constraints of predetermined roles. These are struggles that millions of people face in their own lives, albeit without the added complexity of tiaras and state banquets. The reaction from the Danish people has been nothing short of remarkable. Social media platforms exploded with expressions of support, surprise, and genuine affection for their queen. Many Danes admitted that they had never felt as connected to their monarchy as they did in that moment when Queen Mary chose vulnerability over formality. The carefully maintained distance between throne and citizen seemed to evaporate in an instant, replaced by something far more powerful, genuine human connection. Royal experts across Europe have been analyzing every word of Queen Mary's statement, searching for clues about what this might mean for the future of the Danish monarchy and European royalty more broadly. Some see it as a calculated risk that paid off brilliantly, demonstrating how modern monarchs can maintain relevance by embracing authenticity. Others worry that such personal revelations might diminish the mystique that has traditionally been considered essential to royal authority. The transformation in Queen Mary's public persona didn't happen overnight. Those who have observed her closely over the years point to subtle changes that began appearing long before this dramatic revelation. There were moments during public engagements where her responses seemed more spontaneous, less rehearsed. There were glimpses of genuine emotion during ceremonial events that suggested a growing desire to connect more authentically with her subjects. The summer vacation that preceded this revelation appears to have been a crucial period of reflection and decision-making for the Queen. Away from the constant scrutiny of public life, surrounded by family and removed from the formal protocols of palace life, Queen Mary seems to have gained the clarity and courage necessary to make such a bold move. The relaxed environment apparently provided the space needed to contemplate how she wanted to reshape her relationship with the Danish people. The global implications of Queen Mary's decision extend far beyond Denmark's borders. Royal families across Europe and beyond are watching closely to see how this experiment in royal vulnerability plays out. If Queen Mary's approach proves successful in strengthening the bond between monarchy and citizens, it could set a new standard for how modern royals navigate the delicate balance between tradition and relevance. The timing of Queen Mary's revelation also coincides with broader discussions about mental health, authenticity, and the importance of genuine human connection in an increasingly digital world. Her willingness to show vulnerability comes at a moment when society is beginning to value emotional honesty over performative perfection. This alignment with contemporary values may be precisely what makes her approach so powerfully effective. Critics of the monarchy have long argued that royal families are out of touch with ordinary citizens, living in ivory towers that insulate them from real-world concerns. Queen Mary's recent actions seem designed to directly challenge this perception, demonstrating that even those born or married into extraordinary privilege can understand and relate to universal human experiences. The authenticity of her message has made it difficult for even the most ardent Republicans to dismiss her words as mere royal theater. The Danish media's response has been overwhelmingly positive, with major newspapers and television stations praising Queen Mary's courage and authenticity. Editorial writers have noted that her willingness to be vulnerable actually demonstrates strength rather than weakness, showing a level of emotional intelligence and strategic thinking that bodes well for the future of the Danish monarchy. The coverage has been extensive, with news outlets dedicating significant resources to analyzing every aspect of her statement and its implications. International media attention has also been substantial, with royal correspondents from around the world trying to understand what this development might mean for other European monarchies. The British press, in particular, has been fascinated by Queen Mary's approach, comparing it to various strategies employed by the British royal family over the years. Some have suggested that Queen Mary's method might offer a roadmap for other royals struggling to maintain relevance in changing times. The personal cost of such openness cannot be underestimated. For someone who has spent years carefully guarding her private thoughts and feelings, the decision to share intimate details of her life represents a significant personal risk. Royal privacy has traditionally been considered not just a personal preference but an institutional necessity. By choosing transparency over privacy, Queen Mary has fundamentally altered the terms of her relationship with both the media and the public. The impact on the Danish royal family as a whole remains to be seen. King Frederic's response to his wife's unprecedented openness will be crucial in determining how this new approach is integrated into the broader royal strategy. The couple has always been seen as a team, but Queen Mary's individual initiative represents a bold departure from their traditionally coordinated public approach. The success or failure of this strategy will likely influence how other members of the royal family communicate with the public in the future. Young Danes, in particular, seem to have responded enthusiastically to Queen Mary's new approach. Social media posts from Danish teenagers and young adults express surprise and appreciation for their queen's willingness to be real with them. For a generation that values authenticity above almost everything else, Queen Mary's vulnerability has apparently struck exactly the right note. This positive response from younger citizens could prove crucial for the long-term survival and relevance of the Danish monarchy. The psychological aspects of Queen Mary's decision are equally fascinating. The choice to abandon the protective barriers that have traditionally surrounded royal life suggests a level of personal growth and self-confidence that may have been developing for years. Royal life can be isolating and artificial, and Queen Mary's recent actions suggest a determination to create more authentic connections despite the inherent constraints of her position. The strategic brilliance of Queen Mary's timing cannot be overlooked. By choosing to make her personal revelation during the traditional return from summer vacation, she managed to capture maximum attention while also signaling a fresh start for the monarchy's relationship with the Danish people. The symbolism of renewal and new beginnings was perfectly aligned with the content of her message, creating a powerful narrative of transformation and growth. The ripple effects of Queen Mary's decision are already being felt throughout Danish society. Public opinion polls conducted since her revelation show increased support for the monarchy, with particular gains among demographics that had previously been skeptical of royal relevance. The Queen's willingness to show vulnerability has apparently humanized the institution in ways that traditional royal communication never could. Educational institutions in Denmark have begun incorporating discussions of Queen Mary's approach into courses on leadership, communication, and modern governance. Her decision to prioritize authenticity over protocol is being studied as an example of how traditional institutions can adapt to contemporary expectations while maintaining their core identity and purpose. The economic implications of Queen Mary's increased popularity should not be underestimated. Denmark's tourism industry has already begun leveraging the positive international attention generated by their queen's authentic approach. Royal tourism has historically been a significant contributor to the Danish economy, and Queen Mary's enhanced global profile could translate into substantial economic benefits for the country. The long-term implications of Queen Mary's decision will likely unfold over years rather than months. The immediate positive response from the Danish people is encouraging, but the real test will be whether this new level of openness can be sustained while maintaining the dignity and authority that monarchy requires. The balance between accessibility and majesty has always been delicate, and Queen Mary has chosen to recalibrate that balance in favor of human connection. Looking toward the future, Queen Mary's approach may well become a template for how 21st-century monarchies navigate the challenges of remaining relevant in democratic societies. Her willingness to risk traditional royal mystique in favor of authentic human connection represents a bold experiment that other royal families around the world will be watching closely. The success or failure of her strategy could influence royal communication for generations to come. The personal courage required for Queen Mary's revelation should not be underestimated. Royalty traditionally involves a level of performance and artifice that can become so ingrained that authenticity becomes genuinely difficult. For Queen Mary to break through those barriers and speak with such honesty required not just strategic thinking but genuine bravery. The risk of misinterpretation, criticism, or even ridicule was substantial, making her decision all the more remarkable. As Denmark moves forward with their newly transparent queen, the entire world is watching to see whether authenticity can coexist with authority, whether vulnerability can enhance rather than diminish royal power, and whether ancient institutions can truly adapt to contemporary values without losing their essential character. Queen Mary's bold experiment in royal honesty has opened a new chapter not just in Danish royal history, but in the ongoing story of monarchy's place in the modern world. The Danish people have responded to their queen's openness with warmth and appreciation that suggests a profound shift in the relationship between crown and citizen. This isn't just about one queen's personal decision, it's about the fundamental question of how traditional institutions can remain relevant and meaningful in a rapidly changing world. Queen Mary's answer to that question has been to choose connection over distance, authenticity over artifice, and vulnerability over invulnerability. The international implications continue to unfold as royal watchers and constitutional experts analyze what Queen Mary's approach might mean for monarchies worldwide. Her success in Denmark could inspire similar approaches elsewhere, potentially revolutionizing how royal families communicate with their subjects. Alternatively, if the strategy proves problematic over time, it might reinforce the wisdom of traditional royal reserve and formality. What makes Queen Mary's revelation particularly powerful is its timing in relation to broader social trends toward authenticity and mental health awareness. Her willingness to be vulnerable aligns perfectly with contemporary values while simultaneously challenging age-old assumptions about how royalty should behave. This alignment may be the key to her success, demonstrating that effective leadership in the modern world requires the courage to be genuinely human. The media landscape has also been transformed by Queen Mary's approach. Traditional royal reporting, with its focus on ceremony and protocol, has been supplemented by more personal and psychological analysis of her motivations and methods. Journalists are grappling with how to cover a royal family member who has deliberately blurred the lines between public and private, official and personal. As we continue to witness the unfolding of this remarkable royal transformation, one thing becomes increasingly clear: Queen Mary of Denmark has fundamentally altered not just her own relationship with her subjects, but potentially the entire framework for how modern monarchies operate. Her brave choice to prioritize human connection over institutional distance may well be remembered as a pivotal moment in the evolution of 21st-century royalty. The Danish royal house's decision to publish details about Queen Mary's personal revelation has created unprecedented transparency that continues to generate discussion and analysis throughout Europe and beyond. Royal experts remain divided on whether this level of openness is sustainable long-term, but the immediate impact has been undeniably positive for both Queen Mary personally and the Danish monarchy as an institution. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you want to stay updated on all the latest royal developments. Give this video a thumbs up if Queen Mary's bold approach impressed you as much as it did us. Share this with anyone who loves royal news, and let us know in the comments below what you think about Queen Mary's decision to be so open with her people and whether other royal families should follow her example or if traditional royal privacy is still the better approach.